Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, along with my buddy, Coach Mark Hobley.
Peace.
And local sports, we got UWF Baseball coach, Coach Mike Jeffcoat on. Coach, thanks for being on the show.
Man, I'm excited to be back on with you guys. It's been a while, I think, since last year, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Another great year, though. Let's dive into it. You guys are going to be in the tournament, the regional. It'll come out on Sunday. Hoping you get the number 2 seed so you can host. But a season of streaks this year, 6 losses, the first 10 games, and then you won like 9 out of 11, and then 8 in a row. Talk about your season up and down and how it's gone so far.
Yeah, this season was I guess, a work in progress. Sometimes seasons and teams are a little more than others. We lost a lot of position players, obviously, Darian McDowell, a lot of offensive there, and Jackson Grabsky and,
Trent.
Preston Moore at third base, my son Trent at short. We lost our whole infield. So, it took us a little while to figure out what our best combinations were. We also dealt with some injuries, as you do every year, and you try to get those guys understanding to never, assume what the lineup's going to be, that their name could be called at any moment, and they need to be prepared and ready for, stepping in and helping the team if we have an injury. And these guys did that. And, like you say, we struggled out of the gate trying to figure ourselves out. We knew our strength going in was going to be pitching. That's where our experience was, and had our rotation back and everything. But even Cade Manderside, struggled out of the gate with his first 2 starts and had to bump him out of the rotation, and had some new guys step up. But proud of how this team has progressed. We won all the big series we were supposed to win, dropped a few of the series that we probably should have won. But we try to schedule a tough schedule, and our midweeks is what separates, I think, right now, us being in the 2-hole. We played Georgia Southwestern, 2-game set, swept them. Played Columbus State in a 2-game set, swept them. Split with North Georgia. They're going to be going to a regional. All those teams are in consideration. And I think it makes you, stay focused and locked in for midweeks to get better for your conference weekend series. And, there's hardly any let-ups, but that's how we've always liked it. And it seemed to have worked out well.
Folks, we're talking with national champion baseball coach Mike Jeffcoat. It's been a few years, but Coach, let's talk about the GSC tournament last week. You guys scored 22 runs in the first 2 games, and you didn't play bad the last 2 games, but you didn't score as many runs. Pitching held up pretty well. But how is the pitching staff going forward? Are you going to go with Dalton, Jacob, Cade, and Grant as your rotation?
Yeah, well, Grant Adams has picked us up. He's been a huge piece for us. He was a grad transfer. We got out of the portal. He actually pitched at Georgia Southwestern for his career, and he beat us at Wahoo Stadium last year. And when he hit the portal, we knew we wanted him, and he started his master's here with us. And he ended up having 10 or 11 starts because, each one of those other guys you talked about in the rotation missed some time on the mound, and he really picked us up. So Cade Manderside got sick after his great start at the end of the year against Valdosta State. Got dehydrated and has had to take some IV fluids and stuff. And we expect him back for the regional. Don't know if he's going to be ready to start. He'll certainly come out of the bullpen. But Jacob Heath, Dalton Neuschwander, we used out of the bullpen throughout the conference tournament. I think 3 different appearances. One was a 5-inning relief appearance against Valdosta State. That was a huge moment for us to help us, win that game. And, like you say, the first 2 games, we swung the bats. We had timely hitting. I think we had 16 hits both games. And then, as you get deeper into the tournament, we knew West Alabama was going to have good pitching. They've had good pitching all year long, and then they've gotten hot down the stretch. And we were right there with them, but we made a couple mistakes. And, because of our pitching, we started Caden Peoples, and unfortunately we gave up 4 runs in the first. But we got a big 3-run homer from Dom Presto in the 8th to tie it 6-6. And unfortunately, we walked in the go-ahead run in the bottom of that inning. And then the next day against Montevallo, we lose 4-2. One of their best players hits 2 solo home runs that ended up being game winners for them. But I loved our energy and how we played. And, we really, I think, felt like we could win the thing. I know that everybody in the regional rankings we've played, I know that they feel that they can play with anybody. And so I think the confidence level is high. It's just a matter of making some adjustments we've been talking about here today offensively, staying with our plan and approach, and trying not to have any throwaway at bats so we can grind throughout the lineup and make it tougher on those pitchers.
Yeah, great points, Coach. Practice, does this postseason practice schedule change, or do you want just working on things that you need working on, or do you go back to fundamentals? How does practice change?
I always love to run through the fundamentals. It really doesn't change. Our preparation, as I told them today, how we prepare is how we're going to play. Don't mistake that ever. And so preparation is always huge. And I believe in whether you're doing basketball, whatever, you got to shoot free throws every day. We've got to bunt. We've got to work on our small game. We do PFP with our pitchers. Obviously, we try to hang our hat on pitching and defense, and want to make sure we shore that up. And we made we played great defense throughout the tournament, but we made an error or two that was critical that hurt us in those games. And that's what happens in postseason play. You can make a lot of great plays, but if you don't make the right play at the right time, it can hurt you. So practice preparation is normally the same. The great thing is they're done with school, so now we don't have to work around classes, so we can move around the practice times as we feel we need to, especially working with this weather. We've got rain through the forecast through the weekend, and then it looks like it's going to clear up next week. So, just trying to keep them fundamentally sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep them pumped, Coach. I talk a little bit about your position players and your hitters. Cade Easterbrook, Brett Rowe, 8 home runs. Alex Urias, 381. Ben Maskin's hitting pretty well. And Bradley Willis has 16 doubles on the year, batting 337. So talk about some of your guys that have really swung the bats that came through. Maybe some surprise guys. Somebody like from the beginning of the season you didn't know that was really going to step up.
Well, I don't think you can underestimate Alex Urias, our redshirt freshman. He won Freshman of the Year in the conference. He was battling in the outfield last year. We redshirted him. He had a hammock bone injury. And he was battling in the outfield with several other seniors, Dean Holtz, Parker Tubb, Zach Stokes. You have Drayden Fryman that's been our center fielder. So he had a tough road to hoe, and he just kept competing. And other guys were struggling. We were rotating guys in and out when you were talking about us struggling early in the season. And Alex just won the job and ended up hitting 370, 380 on the season. He was a spark plug for us in the conference tournament. Ended up being in our leadoff spot. Really didn't have anybody that wanted to step up and lead off that we thought could be in a good position for us there. And Alex ended up doing that. Brett Rouse had a good year. Cade Easterbrook has had another good year. A little off from what he did down the stretch last year for us. He was a GSC tournament MVP, obviously, and swung the bat really well. But he swung the bat in the tournament for us. Brantley Willis, a transfer from Chipola, that's been our DH and pretty much closer, reliever for us. Hit a home run in the tournament, but he struggled a little bit. We need to get his bat going again. And he didn't have a great outing in relief, against West Alabama there. But he's helped us a lot this year, and he's been a big piece for us. We got Ben Maskin at third base, another transfer. Tanner Taylor at second base. He was one that we lost for about a month and a half with a hamstring injury, and he's been a nice addition back in our lineup. So through the top of the order, Jaden Fryman's had a down year. He's been a starter for us for 4 years, been all GSC for 3. But he swung the bat better in the conference tournament. And I know he's still got a lot of confidence. We're looking forward to him continuing to, make his adjustments. Dom Presto, you talk about a surprise and having to replace, Trent Jeffcoat at short that had been there for 3 years and won a Gold Glove. And Dom just came on strong. He didn't swing the bat well for much of the part of the season. His average doesn't really show what he's done lately over the last 3-4 weeks. Hit a couple home runs in the conference tournament. Played well at Valdosta State, Mississippi College, made some great plays defensively. So he's come into his own. And, you love seeing that as a coach with any of these guys. We talk about, continuing to progress until the season's over. As long as you have opportunities, keep grinding, keep trying to get better. I'm a firm believer in that. Some coaches say you get to this time of the year, towards the end of the season, you are who you are. I don't believe in that. That's like saying you and we are who we are, and we're never going to change and be the same for the rest of our lives. I think you can continue getting better. Baseball is a game of adjustments. It's a tough game. It can beat you down. But if you don't keep grinding on it, what's the point? And it's the great challenge of the game that makes you want to keep coming back. And, I love pushing these guys to want to be the best. And, I told them we don't go to regionals to participate. We go to try to win them. Yep. We haven't won one since 2011. And as the year we won the national title, thank the good Lord we got it done in our first, getting that done there. But, we want to win this regional. We haven't gotten to the super regional round since they changed the format 3-4 years ago. And So this program, this team still has things they can accomplish.
Absolutely. Coach Hobbs has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, really appreciate from one Argo to another. Really appreciate what you got going over there.
Yeah.
Just keep it going, Coach. You're consistent. What about some of the players in this area here? You have your eye on anybody in particular, or you're not at liberty to say anything? But
well, I mean, there's a lot of good players in Pensacola area, and we recruit a lot of them. People don't realize that, and we talk to their coaches and people, and a lot of times they end up committing and signing other places. Doesn't mean we didn't want them. Didn't mean we didn't recruit them. I know Gulf Breeze has good players that are going off to academies and Naval Academy, different places, and that's great for them. And we've got a lot of young and up and coming. I think the talent level, has gotten better in Pensacola. A little more distributed, and we're always looking to keep some good talent in town. We love having local talent. We have 3-4 guys from in town on our roster right now. We just want to make sure they're the right fit, and certainly, we want them to have success. But it's college baseball, and you try to get the best players from around the Southeast, and if they fit and what your needs are at that time, we recruit them.
Coach, how you doing injury-wise? Is everybody healthy, or are you nursing some guys back? Is Chase Stanhope and Colton Dorsey, were they injured, or how's the injuries going?
Chase Stanhope's been good all year. He's been another great surprise for us. He's in his 5th year in the program. His dad, Chuck Stanhope, he was actually my pitching coach when I was here in '91 after he got released from the Orioles. We've got a plaque of Chuck down in our bullpen honoring him, and it's just a pleasure and honor for me to be able to coach his son. And, Chase, been out of the bullpen maybe 20 innings a year, a little inconsistent with balls and strikes, and then this year he took the next step, and he's been our best reliever out of the pen, had an outstanding year. But Colton Dorsey is one of our big junior college signs that he had a forearm issue for a lot of the year. He was in our rotation there in the beginning picking up Manderscheid, but he was out for over a month, and he threw 3 innings of relief in the tournament, did well, felt good. He feels good out here today. So to answer your question, we're probably as healthy as we've been all year long, knock on wood.
Oh, nice.
Coach, those big names, you kind of answered the question I had. Stanhope, obviously Chuck, was a great player around here out of Pensacola, and Chase is his son. Thanks for letting people know about that monument out there.
Yeah,
I'll go out there. I'll go out there.
Yeah, we're gonna go out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and take a look at that monument. Thanks for mentioning that. And the Dorsey kid, he's out of Gulf Coast. Is that the one out of Gulf Coast?
Well, that was his brother. His older brother pitched at Florida State and got drafted.
Right.
This Dorsey we have is from Wallace Dothan. And so transfer from junior college. He's a right-hander. His brother, I think, was a left-hander.
Yes.
But he's a competitor, and he's got a good arm and a great changeup, and, we need him back. So it's good to hear he's feeling good today.
All right.
Coach, before I let you go, I got to ask you how Trent's doing.
He's doing great, man. Moving on in life, learn about the real world, back to work.
That's right. Does he have that coaching gene in him as well?
I think he thought about it, and then after being with me and, just seeing all the things you deal with as a coach, I think he said, I'll pass. And so that's fine with me.
Yeah, I coach my son too. I think he had the same sentiment. Hey, Coach, man, we're proud of you, man. Yeah. Keep up the good work. Go Argos, man. Win one, Coach.
Go get them.
Thank y'all. Really appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks,
yes,
buddy.
Sir. Thank you.
Wow. Coach Jeffcoat is great.
Man, it just
I don't know how they just keep getting great coaches up at UWF, man.
You're talking about the overall program.
He's program for years. He played there.
Yes,
he learned under the great coaches you had there.
Well, he played under Spooner, and I was there on Spooner's first team. And
what was Spoonie? What was Coach Spooner like? What was he like, man? Was he just hard line?
He was hard line.
He was hard line, right? Old school.
Almost
military-ish.
Well,
right?
his dad took care of the Fort Myers baseball complex, and so Coach always kind of grew up around big league players.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, his dad was in charge of the field.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was always around those type of people like that. So He saw him growing up and stuff like that. That's why West Florida, when Mississippi State came to play us here at West Florida, they left Mississippi State and came and looked at what we had at West Florida, and they said, "Oh my goodness."
A small school
at Mississippi,
preseason before the SEC schedule. You guys played Mississippi State and Will Clark and all those guys.
We whooped them right out.
You beat them?
Jeff Brantley, we whooped them.
Brantley and Clark.
We beat him. Clark, Paramero,
Rafael Paramero.
The starting right fielder was.
Did you get a hit? Did you get a hit in that game?
No, I didn't even play. I didn't smell that one.
But what was the score? How'd they beat him?
We beat them 3-2.
Wow.
Our shortstop hit one off of Brantley. Hit it off the pitcher that the right fielder picked it up. He hit it, and Bobby Thigpen picked it up in right field for Mississippi State and threw it in, and we beat them 3-2.
Wow.
The next year we opened up at Florida State, and we lost 2 games set there. We had 30 walks. I'm gonna just let you do the math. We lost 7-5.
Oh my gosh!
We lost
30 walks,
16 walks.
Oh my gosh!
So there was not a single call strike in 2 days.
Wow!
So,
that's hometown calls right there. Let me tell you. Wow, everybody! Thanks for watching Local Sports Report. Hobbs, thanks for coming over.
Yeah,
and we want to thank Coach Mike Jeffcoat and wish him well here in the Super Regionals coming up, which we'll find out on Sunday. And,
by the way, PSC and Coach Llewellyn, they had a great showing down there.
Yeah,
down
absolutely.
there in the first part of the state tournament, they made it to the final 8. Won the first game, and
congratulations to them. And Coach Llewellyn, he took actually a young, inexperienced team that wasn't quite sure of themselves and overachieved. So we want to shout out to the Pirates and the Argos here. And, so, a little pirate play and a little Argo update for everybody. That's our local sports report. So stay tuned for more sports. If you like it, make sure you share it. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's free. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great sports weekend. We'll see you soon. So long.
Peace.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
Hey, Bama fans, this is Will Moore, president of the Pensacola Bama Club. You can find us at PensacolaBamaClub.com. We are your official alumni chapter in the Pensacola and surrounding areas. Membership is available to all alumni and all Bama fans, so come see us at one of our many events throughout the year. Our Bama football watch parties are the next best thing to being in Bryant-Denny Stadium. We even serve authentic stadium hot dogs. Membership, event, and contact information will be found on our website at PensacolaBamaClub.com. Roll Tide.
For 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.